Rexy, here we are again, doing another episode. Oh, I'm excited about this. So,
Oh yeah.
how was your February?
My February has been a month. Funny thing about this
Oh,
great season of love is sometimes love works and sometimes it does not.
that's all year long. last show, I mentioned that I was going to have one of those speed dating events. Oh my god, what a clusterfuck that was. Oh my god. Well, so let me tell you what happened. So I held it in a movie theater and I had it all planned out where I would have everyone lined up in the two seats going from the front row all the way back. So it was supposed to work like a well-oiled machine where people were just rotating up one side and down the other. The problem is I didn't have a microphone. So in order to get the people to understand, I had to run up the stairs and down the stairs, letting everybody know that what they were supposed to do. And it was just, people weren't understanding. And it was just such a mess. So I ended up saying, you know what? You're all on your own. Just be lonely. I don't care. It was hilarious. It was funny, but it was just so much trouble. But it's because I didn't have a microphone. So then what we ended up doing was hopping over to the dating game, and we held like a real quick game of dating game. And that was fun. That was, oh my gosh, I wish I had recorded that, but that was so much fun. So if anybody found love that night, I don't know about it, but I hope somebody out there found love for Valentine's Day. Oh my
Good for you.
gosh. Yes. Um, well, hopefully it's not over by now because, like we said before, the shelf life of a VR relationship's what, about 3 days or so?
On average, unfortunate. For those few that can make it work,
Um,
once again, good for you.
indeed. I tell you, we've got to have an episode about VR dating and how it works, or can it work? Maybe get some of you people out there to come on and tell us what your experience is in as far as VR dating goes. We'd like to hear from you. So if
Definitely.
you have something, yeah, for sure, come on the show and let us know.
If you've got a working relationship, a non-working relationship, one that goes sideways, one that goes forward or backward, we definitely want to hear from you.
Indeed. Indeed, we do. Maybe you
That
can
is
give
good
us some
espresso.
tips. Is it really? It looks good. It looks good. Look at the whipped cream. That was really good. All
Well,
right.
in other February news, peer reviewed and the results are in. I am the sexiest raccoon on VR.
Oh, well, I already knew that, but now everybody else does. Indeed, you are. Oh, cute little Rexy. Hey, if there are any other lady raccoons, or even if you're not a raccoon, hey, this one, you don't want to let him get away. He's fantastic.
If there are any other raccoons on VR that disagree with me, they are absolutely welcome to come on to the show for a little raccoon beauty competition.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It's just a friendly invitation, not a boast or a brag or a clever way of baiting you at all.
I like that idea. Oh, a raccoon beauty contest. You got me thinking.
We'll call it the Raccoon Riz Rally.
A few of the ladies in alt space they were all set and ready. I think Lacey was one of them. A couple other ladies too. I'm sorry that I've forgotten their names, but I know that Lacey was involved. And we were going to hold a male beauty contest per se, and let them come on and walk the catwalk and do whatever they're able to do, and I think we need to fire that idea up. Lacey, if you're watching, get with me, girl. Let's get this thing going again. You can find some fine ass Abbies in this. But then we want talent too. We want talent. Let them dance. Those full body hotties. Hey, let them come on and dance. Yeah, okay. Can do that.
Well, we also have, as part of the show, our corporate overlook sponsors from the same people that brought you Spike, the pain module, which does not continue to itch at all.
Okay, Rexxy.
They say that I'll be okay once the healing is done.
Oh my God. That's funny. I wonder if that's how that love sense, I don't know. I wonder if that works in the same principle. Shocking.
I mean, part of it does go inside you.
Holy crap. Whoa. I think we better cut right here and break over to our sponsor.
And now to our sponsors at Culturally Incorporated.
Greetings. I'm District Manager 281, a proud member of Culturally Incorporated. Today, I want to share with you the transformative power of the leader's revolutionary 800-step program. Say goodbye to pesky individual thoughts and embrace life of corporate enlightenment. As a visionary, spiritual guru, and doctor, the leader designed his life-changing 800-step program to address the real problems you face every day. Now, let me introduce you to some everyday people who have experienced the miracle of Culturally Incorporated.
As a stay-at-home mom, I showered my 9 kids with individual attention. Now, thanks to the leader's 800-step program, I acknowledge them all as a unit, giving me more time for my new job at Cult Inc. Won't you join our culture?
As a common man, I battled with the horrible independent thoughts that drove me to use narcotics. The leader and his amazing 800-step program helped me find a job with Cultural Incorporated and turn my life around. Won't you join our culture?
Inspiring stories, right? Now, I'm sure after seeing such a relatable fellow human, you're wondering, how can I get the same vacant, far-off stare of bottomless joy? Good news. Visit our website and submit your application to join the team at your local Culturally Incorporated 800-step programming compound. That's the first step, and the best part is, that one's free. Once you've given Culta Inc. access to every aspect of your life, we'll take care of the rest. The program eliminates daily stresses like union fees, rights, safety regulations, body autonomy, and so much more. Just look at this screen. From the leader and the family at Culturally Incorporated, won't you join our culture?
I, for one, am very impressed with the leader and his 800-step program.
800 steps. I'm kind of curious about those steps. Do you know any of those steps?
Well, I know the first step is going to the website and signing their intricate background check that gives them access to your bank account and identity and life and social security number and many other things.
Sounds
but that part's free.
Sounds fairly easy. Sign me up. Oh, I'm so excited about this interview that you did. You did a wonderful interview with Pablo's from the Brainwash. Oh,
Favorite
guys,
places
you
on
gotta watch
VR. Definitely one of the most homey worlds I've ever been to. And
Oh,
based on a real world location that sadly is no longer around. The Brainwash Comedy Club was a real world location. And of course, Horizon Worlds also has a Brainwash Cafe where Failed to Render does their Monday open mics. Click, click.
really?
Oh,
I
yes.
was unaware
And
of that.
here in VR, at the Brainwash on Thursdays are the open mics. But Pablo painstakingly went through a bunch of real world photos to recreate this world and then toss in a few little Easter eggs of his own. But
Oh.
instead of me telling you any more about it, let's have Pablo tell you himself.
Indeed.
I'm Rexxy Rocker. Welcome, Pablo. We're here at the Brainwash.
And thanks for having
you're
me.
the creator of the Brainwash, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
This is one of my personal favorite worlds. Pablo, how'd you get started with world building?
So when I first started playing VR Chat, one of the first places that I ever went to was a place called VR Chat Kmart. And I always went there as a kid with my mom, so to see that such a world even existed was kind of like mind blowing to me. So I went there. Ooh, accidentally grabbed the menu. So I went there to the world and I saw what it had, and I was like, it was like really cool. And I thought, hey, like I saw some stuff in there that I thought could be like improved, like maybe like paint cans in there could look a little more realistic or whatever. So one night I ended up going to the map and the owner was there, and I told him, hey man, like I really like this world. I think it's really cool. I'd love to be able to help with 3D modeling and all that sort of stuff. So of course he wasn't gonna just like let some random person he's never seen before just make stuff for him. So I kind of had to go out and just kind of like do it myself, just kind of make the stuff anyway and then show him. Just kind of be like, hey, look, here's what I can do for you. And eventually he was like, all right. And around the same time I also applied to be an associate, so that I also at least was in the community and I got to know people, so it made things a lot easier. And then just kind of from there I got better, and I ended up leading my first big project, which was the Super Kmart store. Originally it was just a test map. Like it was just the outside parking lot. It was very basic looking, and it wasn't really going to be anything outside of that. But then once I came in and I kind of climbed my way up the ladder, so to say, I was trusted enough where they would let me lead a project like this. So that's what I ended up doing. It took about a year, I think, for it to, like, at least for the first version to come out. It wasn't really perfect, but we ended up fixing a lot of the problems it had. And it is what it is now today. But I've been able to get even more experience by being involved with the Fail to Render Comedy Club. which, funny enough, I was introduced to thanks to them wanting to partner with VR Chat Kmart to do to come into VR Chat and start doing comedy shows there. And they ended up expanding their presence. They have their own club, which I'm now also helping out with development-wise. And eventually I ended up creating this place, the Brainwash Cafe, as essentially another venue for fail to render, but also it can also stand on its own as a place where we can do our own kind of events in here as well, like karaoke. I've had friends that have expressed interest in doing their own events here as well. So I'm kind of excited
in
to
many
see
of
what
the
I can do
events
here.
here. Very fun
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people come in. They say they really like being here. Like they like the vibe, that sort of stuff, and it's just like a really good place for doing for doing small events and stuff like that. Yeah. This place is kind of my my pride and joy right now.
How would you describe the general community you've been able to generate around, like especially the Brainwash?
It's been really interesting, to be honest, because I kind of see the Brainwash community as kind of like an amalgamation of other communities that I've been around. Like you have a lot of the people that are from Fail to Render that come here. There's a lot of people from like Altspace that also come here. And we just have like a lot of those, and even some people from like VR Chat Kmart that also come here on occasion. So it's just been like this really cool mishmash of communities that have just kind of like come together almost to kind of come here and just kind of do whatever, either doing karaoke or coming to the Fail to Render open mics or other stuff. It's been really cool to see community kind of like foster here.
This is definitely, I believe I've said, this is one of my favorite places in VR to come. You have somehow captured a very welcoming presence here.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Who would you say you have kind of learned from as far as world creation, or are you more just self-taught?
I would say I'm more or less kind of self-taught, but I was heavily inspired by playing a lot of Valve's games, like Half-Life 2, the original Half-Life, like playing Counter-Strike maps, like in Gary's mod, just kind of seeing like how they did it. Even though it's much older and a lot more simple, I wanted to take a lot of like what I saw, how they did it, and kind of like apply it to, a place like this where it's like, a lot of the details are like baked into like the textures and whatnot, or like, just kind of letting the lighting do a lot of the work as far as like, realism goes, essentially.
Well, I keep on saying how much I do enjoy this place, and you've managed to get several assets, the alcohol behind the bar, the coffee. The stage is great. I know something that you personally worked on and put in multiple of your worlds is your microphone system. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the microphone system was kind of made out of necessity, because I originally made it for our Fail to Render shows. It was originally based off of an existing prefab, where you had to like click on it to activate it. So it didn't originally move in the first version because it was based off an existing prefab that I got, where you click on it and it like enables your voice and all that stuff. And it was a little challenging to work with because it wasn't perfect. Honestly, the biggest issue with it was that if you spoke loud enough, it would actually lower the voices of everybody else. So if you were telling jokes and wanted to hear people laugh, you probably weren't going to be able to hear them while you were talking, and it kind of affected the experience. So I kind of took it upon myself to make a simpler system that instead of having to turn on a microphone to like have your own voice be amplified, essentially we just have a box, a trigger box, where if you step on it, you automatically have your voice amplified and it's set up in a way so that it doesn't lower anyone else's voice. So you can hear other people laughing. And on top of that, we
Which,
made it
from
so that
experience, helps a lot with jokes.
Yeah.
So you do Kmart, you're doing Fail to Render, you're doing Rack Packs World. Are there any projects coming up that you want to tell the viewers about?
So I've mentioned before that I've had other people come to me for for commissions that they want. I don't know if I can exactly say what it is yet because it's still very early, and of course I don't want to spoil anything. But as far as like personal stuff, I mean, for the most part, I'm just going to be focusing on the Brainwash Cafe since it's like essentially like kind of my most popular world right now, and I kind of want to keep that train going.
And you've even, without giving away any spoilers, you've managed to sneak in some Easter eggs in some of your worlds. I know there's one here. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Of course, I'm not going to say where. If you come here, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Whoever decides to come here, you'll be able to find it.
Highly recommended coming down to the Brainwash Cafe, checking out Kmart in all of its locations. And, of course, Failed to Render. You're a very big part of Failed to Render, I'm to understand, as well as Kmart. You've got big projects coming up. You got more projects coming up. And are you still available to take on more?
Yeah, I mean, generally I like to work on commission projects kind of like one at a time because I can at least kind of focus on it. I can kind of give like my full attention towards a project. But I imagine the longer that I do this and the more experience that I get, I might be able to handle more at a time. But for now, I'm just kind of keeping it one at a time, just so I don't go crazy.
So the viewers at home can, of course, come down to the Brainwash and see your work. And see your work at Kmart and the Failed to Render Comedy Club. A little bit of randomness. If you could have one superpower, IRL, what superpower would it be?
Ooh, I think the ability to just run really fast and not get tired. Or fly.
Biggest pet peeve?
That would work too. Biggest pet peeve. Ooh. I think my biggest pet peeve would be encountering people who can't read the room in social situations.
What is your biggest fear, if you're comfortable sharing that?
My biggest fear? Let's see. I think my biggest fear would probably be like not being able to like improve or learn like from what I'm interested in wanting to learn and get better at. That's something I always am kind of scared of. It's like, can I get better at this? Can I actually understand what I want to learn here? Something I always face when trying something.
Well, from what I can tell, you're only getting better as you go.
Thank you.
Everything looks great. And once again, everyone should come down and check out your work everywhere. Is there anything before we sign off that you'd like to plug or bring anybody's attention to?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys like places like the Brainwash Cafe and you want to see more like it, or you just want to see the place improve, please buy me a coffee. It'll certainly help me a lot.
Pablo, thank you so much for being on the show. Personally, you are one of the nicest people I know on all of VR. Come down, buy Pablo a coffee. Nicest guy in the world. Official.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Everybody stay safe out there.
Nice interview. Wow, that's
Pablo and I have
awesome.
definitely built a rapport. One of my very close friends on VR also helps out with the Kmart, does a few other things across VR, and once he has an opening, is ready to take on more work. Once he has an opening.
Oh, so he does commissions.
Yes.
Nice. Well, he's very talented. He's very, very
Yes.
talented. So I'm so proud of him. He's such a sweetheart, too. Oh, man.
And if you want to help him out, because this is one of the nicest people on all of VR, go ahead, stop by the Brainwash and why not buy Pablo a coffee?
Indeed, indeed. Definitely have some good coffee there, and I like the drinks there. And it's always so much fun. You do karaoke, stand up, but just hang out and chill. Really great group of people that hang out there. So definitely want to do
Wrapped
that.
up, just sitting in the Brainwash, sharing YouTube videos with friends.
Indeed. Great group of people. Well, now we have story time with Miss Mabel again this time.
I love Miss Mabel when she's not chasing me with a broom.
I think Miss Mabel's got a crush on you.
Trying to crush me with that broom, I know that.
Well, let's see
Raccoons
what
are supposed to
she's...
dig through trash, everyone.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, let's see what Miss Mabel is telling today. Well, good afternoon, children. This is Miss Mabel again with another story for you. Today's story is about Brenda. And Brenda has this cute little pet. Brenda has a beaver. Oh, but there's a problem with this beaver. As you can see from the title of the story, Brenda's beaver needs a barber. Here we go. Brenda has a beaver, and she's ready to confess. As soft and sweet as it may be, her beaver is a mess. Brenda's beaver's big, and Brenda's beaver is hairy. Every guy who's seen it says Brenda's beaver's scary. Oh, that does look like a scary little beaver, doesn't it? Brenda took her beaver for a swim down at the lake. By the looks that she received, she figured that was a mistake. Oh boy. She stuffed that furry mound into a swimming suit. It stuck out all around. It was anything but cute. Someone who saw it laughed. Others were just stunned. Brenda's beaver was hanging out, soaking up the sun. Her friends could not believe her. They said, "We need to talk." They covered up her beaver and they took her for a walk. "Brenda, dear, listen here. We want to help you out. Your beaver needs a makeover, and it needs it now." Indeed it does. Wow. I hope we don't seem pushy, said her biker friend named Kim. Your beaver is too bushy. We think it needs a trim. Savannah pulled her beaver back to show off what she'd done. Isn't that a cute little beaver? Hers has a nice long patch. It looks like it'd be fun. That's a landing patch there on that beaver. Chrissy's beaver is quite rare. It could be worth $1 million. Hers is bare. It has no hair. Her beaver is Brazilian. Catherine let her beaver loose. She said, there's nothing to it. Grab some clippers and a can of mousse. We'll show you how to do it. Kim produced some scissors, and Chrissy had some wax. Now all that Brenda had to do was sit back and relax. Well, her friends were going to take care of her beaver, that's for sure. As they came towards her beaver, they said, now don't be scared. We're going to see what's underneath that frumpy pile of hair. It ended in just minutes. They didn't leave her much. When Brenda's friends were finished, she and her beaver blushed. Let's see her beaver. Her beaver was so tiny. They could not believe their eyes. It was smooth and it was shiny. It was hard to recognize. Now Brenda is so proud. It seems every time we see her, she's in the center of a crowd just showing off her beaver. The end. See, children, just a little bit of grooming can go a long way, and it can make your beaver want to play. So that's it for another story with Miss Mabel. So join us next time, and we'll see you then.
That reminds me, I think I
that
need a haircut.
was a furry little beaver, wasn't it? Do you prefer beavers being furry, or do you prefer that little bald-headed Brazilian beaver that was in the book?
Personally, I think a beaver needs to have at least a little bit of hair.
Like the little landing patch that one beaver had.
Of course, styling and profiling. That's how you get a man's attention.
Indeed. Okay. Really? That's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. I'd be curious as to what the audience out there thinks. I'd like to do like a little poll on what's preferable. So, hey, leave a comment. Leave a comment. Yes. And remember, always be kind to your beaver. Every once in a while, pet your beaver so that it'll be a happy little beaver.
You don't want your beaver to get lonely. Introduce it to company every once in a while.
Indeed. Indeed. Oh, my
There's
gosh.
nothing more sad than a lonely beaver that doesn't have any friends around.
Oh, I can. Yes, I agree. I agree. Anyway, This has been a wild show. But we cannot end the show without words of wisdom from Disco Jesus, now can we?
Wouldn't think about it. That groove-tastic, funkalicious savior music that we have has a special lesson for you today. Hope that you take it with you.
If life gives you lemons, make lemonade because you're having a bad day. If life gives you wheat, make bread because life is trying to remind you that patience has its rewards. If life gives you a large 3-meat pizza, add pineapple with garlic knots and a 2-liter of soda from that pizza joint down the street, make friends and have a party because you're high and you ordered that shit, you just don't remember.
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
I always love some classic advice about lemons. Personally,
No.
when life gives me lemons, I usually just chuck them back at life because I don't want your freaking lemons. What the hell am I going to do with lemons?
Oh, I love to suck on lemons. Oh, I just had a couple of lemons the other day. What I do is I cut them in half and I dip them in sugar and just lick. And I do that several times. Just keep licking and licking and licking. And then I squeeze the juice in my mouth. And then when I got all the juice out, then I'll turn it inside out and then just take off each of the layers and dip it in sugar and put it. It's the best thing I've been doing.
I've never tried that.
You got
Look at us giving you recipes. Next time, we'll show you how to make Rexxy Rocker PB&Js.
Ooh, that sounds like a plan. Well, this has been Molly.
And Rexxy Rocker.
And we'll see you next time.
You stay safe out there.